Matt's favorite, a time travel story.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast, with your hosts, Connor O'Neill and Matthew Hughes.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Nerdy Misfit Podcast.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
It's the end of the month.
It's the end of the month, and you know what that means. Another anime under the belt.
That's true. Another anime under the belt. Anime of the month. This month we watched Charlotte. If you're new around here, every month we pick one anime. Could be new, could be old, any genre. Basically, we're trying to spread it out, and we pick that and we watch it along with our friend Troy from the Nerdy Misfit Gaming. And yeah, we just kind of give our 2 cents. So there will be spoilers ahead if you have not seen Charlotte. It has been out for a while, since 2015.
Almost 11 years now.
PA Works worked on it for the anime. This is also a Key Studio original, so they're the ones who made Clanad, Angel Beats as the visual novels, and you can tell, you can definitely tell in this anime. Genre is school, superpower, valid.
Yep.
Score is a 7.76 on Mal, currently sitting at 1.345 million completed.
Okay.
Which brings it, I believe, as of the last time I checked, it's around the 68 mark for popularity, which is kind of why we picked it. Picked like kind of a more popular show we hadn't seen.
Yeah.
If you we'll carry on, Matt, with the synopsis. Your
All right.
favorite part?
Favorite part where I butcher things. So we got the synopsis. All synopsis that we do comes from my anime list. If not for his ability to take over people's minds and body, Yu Otosaka would be an ordinary high school student. Though it only lasts for 5 seconds at a time, Yu's mysterious power allowed him to cheat his way to the top of his class and enter a prestigious high school where he continues his dishonest act. His shenanigans are eventually stopped by Neo Tamori, the headstrong student council president from Hoshinomu Academy, who sees through his deceit. Through coercion, Neo convinces Yu to transfer to Hoshinomu and join the student council. Hoshinomu Academy is secretly an institution created for adolescents who possess supernatural abilities, with the student council serving as a means of locating those who abuse their powers. With Yu begrudgingly assisting in council affairs, the group sets out to find and protect new ability users from harm. However, as they further investigate the abilities, their findings entangle them in far more complicated matters than they could ever imagine.
What an understatement.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
what were your initial thoughts then, Matt, going in? Obviously, I feel like the synopsis does give you, if you were to watch this on the 3 episode, the synopsis is fitting.
Yeah. Synopsis covers the first 3 episodes. The first paragraph is literally the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, which often does feel
Yeah.
like, I mean, not even just anime, just
In
movies
general,
and stuff.
gives
in
you that
general.
little bit of hook to try and drag you in. Okay, so what I got written down is it gave me villain of the week, like a CW show cliche, but instead of villain, it was like superpower of the week.
Yeah, I have something similar. Episodic format, following the student council hunting down a kid with powers.
Yeah.
Kind of just, that's basically what the first 3, 4,
4 or 5 episodes are. Yeah,
And it's just almost broken up into like sometimes two kids per ep.
yeah. I think if I was watching this by myself, I am very uncertain if I would keep watching past episode 3. Even the power, like for someone who likes superpowers, the powers just weren't like engaging enough for me in the first couple episodes to be like, oh, I need to know what happens next.
They were all very
half-assed.
well, I mean that's like the joke in
Well,
the series, right?
yeah.
Is mentioned that it's half-assed, but I would even say like, as a joke, they're quirky, right? Like the
Yeah.
powers are not this full-fledged thing. They're kind of like, oh, my power is to turn invisible, but I can only be invisible
only
to
for
one
one
person.
person.
So your power is kind of like nerfed.
Yeah.
Another element of this that's initially is they're superpowers, but they really only have them for a very limited time, and it's also not specified how long that time could
Yeah,
be.
is it like when you hit puberty, when you hit around the age of 12? Like,
Because it says adolescence, so
yeah.
we're getting an age range. The little sister ends up getting her power a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So it feels like you could almost say like 8 to 17 area, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's no real catalyst for them just leaving. It feels like sometimes they can just go whenever. So
yeah.
I feel like that's just the show, you're almost thinking too deep into it at that point, and that's not
Yeah,
the point of the show.
That's really not the point of this 13 episode. I will say the show did obviously pick up in the second half of the season.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you don't get that far, you're not going to realize.
It almost has that Steins Gate effect. You need to
Yeah.
get through that. And Steins Gate's like 9 episodes,
You gotta
and
get
then it's
through-
worth it.
yeah.
This one, shorter show. You only have to get through 6 eps.
You literally have
and
to
then
get
you're,
through half the show, though.
Because I feel like once I hit that 6th episode, I was like, well, now I got to keep watching.
Yeah.
Which, obviously, spoilers ahead. 6th episode is when the main character's little sister ends up
Collapses.
ends up getting her power due to stress, we'll say.
Yep.
A stressful environment. And ends up destroying a building, which also collapses on top of her. And it's both sad, tragic, but also we finally see like a different emotion from the MCU, where the start he was kind of unbearable. Just not a very likable character for a good half of the series, and this is when we start to see that change in him. We see some more emotion, see that he did obviously care for his sister deeply, and basically the second half is almost like his redemption arc, if you will, like of him one becoming a better person overall, but also being selfless, which is the complete opposite of what he was at the start, where he was a very selfish person. It was also really sad because his sister was just really cute, really like nice,
Very wholesome character.
yeah, always, the classic little sister making her older brother food, breakfast, making him bentos and dinner. And she always added the family's secret pizza sauce to everything, which was a kind of a funny running gag, which also ended up being very sweet.
Yep.
But yeah, overall, music was okay. It wasn't my cup of tea for the openings.
I enjoy the opening. The opening is "Bravely You" by Leah. I thought it was a good song. I listened to the full 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's better. When I usually look through the music of this thing for the different anime this month, it's crazy because this one,
It had a lot.
well, it had its own Wikipedia page just for the music.
Well, and I wrote down I may have not loved the opening. It wasn't something that I was like, oh, for me, it's not. It's the music I have to like, and for me, it was eh.
That's understandable.
And by that I mean the genre.
Yeah.
And I did write though. I appreciate the effort that went into the show when it comes to how many original songs were in there for characters singing.
Yeah.
Because there were multiple artists referenced within the story that then had a song.
Do you know how much music was made for this show?
I'm gonna go with had to have been at least over an episode, over a song per episode. So
2 studio albums, 3 singles, and a soundtrack.
okay, yeah.
I was very shocked.
You could tell there was a lot of effort put into the music because it wasn't just the background, right? It was, like you said, the original songs that were also written for the series. So definitely noticeable for those. We both watched it dubbed, which that could be a sin to some people. Hey, got things going on,
Exactly.
Doesn't mean we weren't paying attention. Just it's also a bit. I was finding it a bit jarring when we go from the dub and then they go into a Japanese
song.
the proper. Because then I'm like, okay, was that the voice actor for Japanese? I didn't have. I was a bit rushed. It was a busy February, so I didn't end up going. Sometimes if I'm watching it dubbed, I'll check out some episodes in subbed, like ones that have the song sung.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. If I'm watching it subbed and there is a dub, I'll just check it out kind of to see
to
gauge how it is. Didn't have the time this month to do that though, but I definitely appreciated the original music that went into it for sung songs. The OST was definitely solid as well. I feel like that's pretty common for some of these key stories. Clanad obviously has a very memorable soundtrack. So does Canon. Angel Beats has a fantastic soundtrack. So
I think it was the same artist as Angel Beats as well.
So makes sense. They're following in suit with there. I would say music above average, definitely above average.
Yes.
I feel like usually we're in the lines of it fit, but it wasn't noticeable. This one was noticeable, and it obviously fit. So I would say music was on the higher end. As far as animation, character design, I think it was PA Works, right? That ended up doing the animation for this, and they did a great job. Looked good. Had pretty much no issues. I remember you messaged about the student council office being in CGI, but for the most part, like
It stopped after the introduction, because it was like, to me, it was a little jarring to like, we see the student council, it was just like all CGI for a good like minute and a half, and I was like, oh.
for
And
me
then
it
like,
was more
calmed
just
right
it was
down.
more just like an introduction of the setting.
That's very fair.
Like it almost feels like it could have been added in post. Like they didn't think about, oh, let's have like a panorama of the student council, and they added it later and use CGI for that. It wasn't It wasn't like bad. Obviously, like it is noticeable in terms of like us can go right from 2D and then back.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was a really well done show from an animation perspective. The art was great, and yeah, probably what would have kept me continuing on, I think, after 3 episodes, as you mentioned, because on the 3 episode rule, put my air quotes up for our audio only listeners. For our 3 episode rule, I do think it would have been tough to keep going. But
Yeah.
since it looked so good, like it was very clean, I feel like I'm more likely to give those shows a longer try.
That's understandable. I think, yeah, when animation is put, like, when they put time into the animation, you always want to, like, give it more credit.
When it feels like it's higher quality, you're like, oh,
Exactly.
there's got to be more to it.
Gotta
Like,
be
there's got to
something.
be a payoff. Like, there's no way they put that much more effort into,
Mhm.
because it does look, and if you consider how old it holds up.
It holds up, definitely.
It almost looks better than some anime
Some
coming out
anime,
now.
Agreed.
So
Yeah.
when it's that good, you almost are like, but it looks so good. There's got to be a reason for it, right? And that definitely, I think, would keep me going.
Yeah.
Shall we jump into our pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to mention I also watched it in dub. And it was interesting for me because there are certain voice actors that I can, like, as soon as I hear their voice, I pick up who it is right away.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Particularly one was the voice of the older brother of the invisible girl.
Oh, yeah, of now,
Yeah.
Tamori.
Yeah, because like when we see the couple clips of like the brother, that voice, I was like, oh, that's Edward Elric. Like
Yeah.
within seconds, I was like, I know who that is. That's Vic Mignogna.
The blacklisted man.
Yeah. But
But I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
especially if you go back a decade, a little even older than that, like 15 years ago, like so many of the English voice actors are
Literally
in everything.
Yeah, it's
which
the
is-
same like 3 or 4.
Which is what's really nice now is it does feel like there's a much larger
demographic.
cast of dubbed
Yeah.
actors to pick from, and kind of try and match them if that's what I'm no dub expert, so I don't know if they're trying to match the voices necessarily
Mm-hmm.
to the characters, or just see if they fit the character in their own right. But it does feel like there's a lot more people getting into the profession, and that's only good because it just gives more variety
Yeah.
and more takes on characters as well.
Yeah. But jumping into the positives, I have Little Sister was the best character.
Oh, can I give my first positive?
Oh yeah.
Matt's favorite, a time travel story.
It's funny because I actually don't have that in my positives.
You don't have that in the positives? That's your favorite.
I do love a good time travel story, but it was too late in the game for it to.
No,
be
I think it was a great
introduced.
twist.
I will say I enjoyed the twist of them having an older brother and erasing the memory.
Yeah,
I found
thought
that
the
to be a
whole-
good.
I thought
twist.
that whole big brother little backstory was great.
Yeah, him going blind, trying to fix the timeline, like that part of it was interesting.
And his final because it was making him blind, the time traveling,
Yeah.
and his final hurrah before he could go blind and not use his power anymore was creating the school that they're bringing all of these to try and protect all these kids with powers.
Yeah, but it's one of those things like that makes up for it in the show. But again, you would not have even had a glimpse of that within the first 3 eps.
No, yeah, and I think the little sister does mention something about some like a brother missing or something, but
nothing crazy. Yeah. Another positive is the music throughout the show.
yep,
The dubbing was
definitely.
really good.
Dub was solid.
Finding out why the show was called Charlotte, I really enjoyed that.
Yes, I have that as well. That was Chef's Kiss. I thought that was a really clever way of using the title or
Yeah,
having the
because
title.
I was curious why it was called Charlotte, and I was like, okay,
Because
none
there's
of
no
the
characters.
none of the characters named Charlotte. The school's not called
The
Charlotte.
powers aren't called Charlotte.
Nothing is connected to Charlotte. So when they're like, oh, it's the comet that comes around, and I'm like, oh, we actually the little sister talked about that originally, and I was like, oh, that's actually a good like payoff, and I enjoy it being called Charlotte a lot more.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good, clever use of having your title. It's a pro and a con where some of the show felt predictable. The sister passing, I told you
called that right
I was
away.
like, there has to be some sort of time
She's too
travel
lovable.
or way of bringing her back. Like it just felt like it had such a large impact on the main character, and they're really fussing over it. And I was like, there's got to be just something time travel or some sort of resurrection power that ends up coming in to save her. And but then it twists it, and this is where the pro is like it kind of takes what you would think is going to happen and kind of flips. Yes, that's true, but then it flips it.
Yeah.
Because for me, the big, oh, the brother has time travel. I'm like, of course, now we're going to time travel to save the sister. But then the flip is that he's already time traveled multiple times.
Yep.
And you're like, oh,
so
that's
we can't do it.
crazy. So, I mean, they still do time travel to save her, but
yeah, but in a different
in
way.
a different way than expected.
Yeah.
Which I did enjoy. And then I wrote down, obviously, the other unexpected thing was the way that the powers. I don't think I would have ever predicted that they were getting it from a comet.
Yeah.
From Charlotte's comet.
Which is cool.
And I also would never assumed that the goal was to create a vaccine to stop the kids from having powers.
Yeah.
That was also, it was kind of glossed over as like, oh yeah, we're trying to create a vaccine, and it just kind of zoomed past it. And I was like, well, that's the goal. That's what
we're trying to push for. Like
we're just trying to cure. Okay, sure.
Yeah. And then my last positive is I do like the fact that some kids didn't have full control of their powers.
It made sense.
It made sense because I feel like from an X-Men fan, from a My Hero Academia fan, I feel like they just are able to control their powers way too like easily in certain regards.
It depends. I think My Hero does a pretty good job of showing that even the people who did have a decent control of their powers, there was a next level, right? Which was some of the arcs was like, you need to push your quirk to the limit to get it more powerful. Like even Todoroki, like he didn't have a full control. Like where he is at the end of My Hero.
Oh, it's completely different character.
Right? Like that control he has over both sides is insane. But we see that at the beginning, like he's broken and he totally has control over his powers, but not to the limit that he should.
Yeah. But I'm just saying I enjoy the fact that like the dude who can like teleport in air
Yeah, that
quotations,
felt more like just a speed quirk, didn't
that's
it?
all it was, is that he could run to a certain spot, but then he also couldn't stop.
Yeah, basically.
So I'm like, but I enjoy how like he was the comedic relief. He was a fun character.
But that was also
too.
the half-assedness of the power.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because that was his like, oh yeah, but it can't stop. Just like how it's not like the girl who can only be invisible for one person was able to ever be invisible for more people.
Yeah.
Right? Makes me feel like that isn't so much control as it's just
That's
the
it.
power is just not insanely broken. But then later we do get insane powers, so
yeah, and people
it's
are
a
just
bit more
hanging out.
confusing.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider that they only have it for such a short period of time. It's like, wow.
You really
Don't have a lot of time to really
the end of the cheap end of the
adapt to
stick
it.
here. Yeah. Do you
my-
have any other positives?
My last positive is I really liked the tip of the hat to Angel Beats. I think it was episode 7.
Yes.
Is like the
Angsty up.
the sulky ep, which valid sulking over your sister passing away. But I liked when he was in the Mon Cafe, he's watching Angel Beats. I just really enjoy those like little Easter eggs when they're thrown in there from the same type like author or same people that worked on a different series. I like that. We did Sanda, which is by the author for Beastars, and there's a scene where they're reading Beastars. I just like that type of stuff. I think it's fun.
Just a subtle nod, which is great.
Yeah, I think it's fun. On to negatives. Now, I do have a few, but I don't want this to feel like I'm
Pooping on the anime.
pooping on it, because I did enjoy it.
Yeah.
So post concert, I'm like, it does start to feel a bit ass pulley.
Okay.
Mostly with the main character, like having his power conveniently be that he can take powers, because we've seen him take over people already. And how did he never
accidentally
or notice any
switch change
to use that power?
Mm-hmm.
I found that to be a bit odd, that all of a sudden they're like, yeah, he's all for one. He can just take he can just stockpile other people's quirks and use them as his own. So I felt like that was a bit convenient for the story.
Yep.
The last episode felt like a lot happened. Like even like if it was one episode longer, I think I would have maybe preferred 2 episodes longer and just had like the plan be more detailed and have a lot more issues with going through with the plan, which was to individually have the main character the main character you goes to every single country, to every single adolescent who is both a carrier of the power or already has a power,
Yep.
and then to take the power away from them.
Yeah.
Which feels like realistically, like even if you're lowballing it, has to be hundreds of millions of kids.
Yep.
Which just doesn't make sense in such a short period of time that it happens in. Like
No,
that
it doesn't add up.
That does break the suspension of disbelief a bit there. So I feel like it just could have been done a little bit better. Maybe be like, even have it so that he starts doing it and it's working out, he's getting broken, and be like, this isn't effective. There's got to be a better way. And then have a better way, or to mass do it, or have him find someone whose power is similar to his that can, like an amplifying one where he can do it on a scale where he doesn't need to see them or something.
Yeah, a cerebro of sorts.
Yeah, because he started getting those powers where he could see them.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe getting a power where he just doesn't have to be there and he can just do it. I mean, that would also be very convenient and broken. But also at this point, he has so many powers. It's like, well, he is broken.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was really that whole montage. It was very rushy feeling to me. Like it could have been done a little bit better.
Yeah.
I also have written down odd choice to not save. I wrote I should have wrote down the character's name. I wrote down, I can't remember what his name is. The guy with the Takahito. The guy that is going to the student council dripping wet to be like, there's this person with this power. Really bizarre that like, oh, we're not going to go back in time to save him because we're not messing with time anymore. Yeah. And I was like, but you could go back in time, save him, and then still go through with the same plan you have and save that guy and save more people. I just thought that like it was really weird choice.
Yeah.
So
he was a fun character too.
He was a fun character.
I loved his like kind of origin of like how he played into it, of like making sure he was wet every time.
Yeah.
Like that's fun.
And he was like really important to the MC's older brother. But it was just weird that they could have saved him and they didn't.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're drawing the line now. I just thought that was odd. I also have down, it was hard to gauge how much time was passing in the final episode.
Yeah.
Like how long it actually took to do this. And lastly, this one was also rushed and I think would have been a lot better over a few more episodes, is the relationship. Because throughout the series, and especially after episode 7, there definitely begins to be a little bit more of a connection. And I feel like you probably were predicting from the start, like you're already kind of shipping you and Tamori. You're like, okay, they might get, and then you go to the concert and you're like, okay, like we're definitely at that point where like we're pushing more to like we're a thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously the time travel stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then it just feels really rushed at the end.
Yeah, he like barely has memory. He goes, who are you? She goes, I'm your lover. And you're like, he's like, oh, okay. Like, what?
Yeah, but and before that, he was like, I love you. And she's like, no, you don't. You can't say it. And because she no longer has the memories of everything. Like going to the concert and what she did for him and et cetera, et cetera. So it would have been nice to have it be a little bit more fleshed out, I think. Yeah. That was just another thing I felt just a little bit rushed at the end. And I think would have felt more satisfying if we got just a little bit more to it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have that in my own notes. I think if it was like not necessarily 24 eps, but even like 16 eps, I think just to fill in a little bit of gaps.
Yeah, like the relationship, that ending kind of sequence.
Yeah, develop the characters, the supporting characters even just a little bit more so there's a bigger impact. Yeah, just seeing him travel more to take away the powers, because I feel like there should have been some like pushback You know, if he's going to all those giant groups, I know he's
Yeah.
overpowered, but
Oh yeah, he's so broken at that
so you're
point.
saying he never came across a character who has like super strength or something to try and take him down a little bit, just like minor hiccups.
Well, that's what I mean. If they had another episode, we could have seen like more pushback against him, right?
Yeah. For my negatives, I mean, didn't like the main character that much.
He was definitely a lot better
by the end.
Yeah. Which
But
makes him good.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I have the same note as you. As main character basically becomes all for one from My Hero, like
in a good way though.
Yeah, in a good way. And I feel like I watch two different animes at times. 'Cause I feel like the first 5 episodes does not match the second half of the show, and then I feel like I just needed more to properly enjoy it. Like,
Yeah, I
if
think
there was some
those
weird
first episodes are kind of like
it's like comparing
I guess
season 1 of Flash to season like
introducing
3.
you to the characters and being like, this is kind of
This
who
is
you're
what they're
working
kinda
with.
doing.
This is the gang.
And then we're just gonna kill someone. And you're like,
This is the gang. Well, because the thing is, at least in those first 5 episodes, there's no issue. They kind of go to everyone, and it's like no problem.
Now don't be playing baseball like that anymore.
No, that
Okay.
one's actually a tougher one because they have to
That's
play the
true.
baseball game.
Oh, that's true. They do.
The archer guy,
They
they're
make
just like,
them-
don't be doing that no
don't-
more. Flying
don't-
guy,
Don't
no
be
more
flying
flying.
anymore.
and they just kind of are like, trust that he's not gonna fly anymore.
Wow.
If I can fly, like even if someone's like, you could die, and I'll be like, well,
That'll
then I
happen.
die.
Exactly. In this one, I have it more confused about this one. But like, where are some of the parents? And like, if this is a global issue of these adolescents getting
That's
powers,
just anime. You're not supposed to
I know.
question.
That's
that
why
stuff.
I'm like, I'm not gonna push on this. But it's like, should the parents be more on the lookout for the fact that all these adolescents are having powers? But that again, that's just like,
I mean, in the X-Men, they do. They hate them.
exactly. But that's just me like really trying to nitpick a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's an anime, so you just accept that.
Yeah,
the parents aren't there.
exactly.
You know, usual anime stuff.
Yeah. Before we wrap the episode, we are going to jump over to Nerdy Misfit Gaming for Troy to see if he enjoyed this anime.
I'm gonna go with no.
Probably not.
Hello, everyone. This is Troy from the Nerdy Misfits Gaming, and these are my thoughts on the anime Charlotte. Charlotte for me was a little bit of an odd one. I did feel like for me, it started a little bit kind of on the slower side. It didn't have a big hook in for me that kind of makes me want to see what's gonna happen next or where things are gonna go. That comes, just not right away. To me, that part kind of comes about halfway into the show. Especially when they find out Ayumi, I'm hoping it's the name right, where the main character's sister, they find out she is kind of developing up kind of her own powers. And then she dies. So it was a turn, I wasn't expecting to see. I like when I can't fully predict or see where things were going. I didn't think they would go the route of just kind of killing her off. So I didn't mind it. Then it turned to something that I personally just absolutely hate. Time travel. I personally just despise time travel in anything. I do like the downside that they did to where the power of the time travel can only be used if you're able to see with both eyes. So I like the downside of the more you use the ability, kind of your sight slowly starts fading away. So I haven't seen that take before. I liked that. But again, I still just don't like time travel. I thought the art and animation were actually pretty good. They were definitely above par. Like, they're definitely above your average. I feel like they did a lot of detail into things, whether it was the environment or the clothes that they were wearing. I feel like the styles, like they had good colors, and there was just more detail than your usual show. I feel like nothing is like absolutely outstanding, but I'd probably give it a good like kind of 8 out of 10 just to kind of get into range. So I thought it was good. Same thing with the music. Above average, nice music, but again, not outstanding. like I said before, my biggest gripe is the damn time travel. Sorry, I focus on it. I just don't like it. I will say it did kind of work with the story. I don't know how to do the story different if they didn't do the time, if there was no time travel power, like how it would work. But I still just hate time travel as a concept. The other part that I am not a huge fan of is the ending, or a little bit just before the ending of when Yu is trying to gather all the powers, and he's basically just going around the whole world. He's going basically country skipping. I feel like that whole part was too short. Like it was all done within what, an episode and a half. I feel like that needed more time. Now you could have added more things in there, but I feel like that should have been stretched out. If they really wanted to stretch it, if they could have, like that whole part could have been like a whole second season, really. I don't know what the budget is and if they wanted to go there or not. But I didn't like how condensed that was. I feel like there'd be enough around there because they're traveling the world. They could have done a lot there. But, it still worked out. So overall, I didn't mind the show. It's not like a bad show, but to me it wasn't a good show either. It's kind of in the middle. So I gave it a 7 out of 10. I would say give it the good old 3-episode try and go from there. If it piques your interest, great. If it's not, it's not one that's going to hurt for you to skip over. Thanks.
Well, thanks, Troy. I have no idea what you said. I'll have to check it out when the episode comes out, which is every Wednesday, guys. Every Wednesday, there's a new episode of the Nerdy Misfit podcast.
What? I had no idea.
And Joe, Matt, just want to say, before we dive into our concluding comments, this is episode
299.
Is it 209 or 199? 199.
Was it 199?
Yeah, 199.
Oh, I got way too excited there.
Or I think technically it might be 200. Anyways, it's the last episode of season 2.
Crazy.
Which our seasons don't really have any real logic to them. They kind of are just like every 100-ish episodes, and then we're doing a little bit of a soft reset. So next episode, if you are already a follower of the Nerdy Misfit podcast, you'll get a reintroduction of who we are, along with a few updates of the Nerdy Misfit podcast.
And stuff outside of the podcast a little bit too. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I just wanted to drop that here, that this is the last episode of season 2. I think we did a lot of improvements this season, and hopefully we continue to improve on season 3.
I mean, we'll talk about this more next week, but I mean, we introduced video.
That is true.
Like 100 episodes is when we started videos of that really awkward one camera setup.
Yeah,
and
and
here
we've
we are
been
now. Testing it out,
so
audio, and we've had some, we'll jump into it more. But I'm super excited for next week's episode. It'll be a lot of fun to reflect and tell you guys what's happening next.
And yeah, back into Charlotte. Do you have any final thoughts, enjoyment?
I think overall it was a solid show with some good anime, good music, some interesting character developments. I just wanted a little bit more.
So what's your rating?
I feel like the animation is what bumps it up for me with the music, because the story kind of falls flat.
Yeah, the music and animation definitely bring it up.
So like, I want to say a 7 to 7.5, because I think anything under 7 feels a little harsh. Because I was thinking like 6.5, but I was like, that's too harsh for how the anime and music is.
For me, I'm thinking more like 7.5 and 8. And I feel like when it comes to my anime list, this is more on the side of, since you can't do halves, I'm leaning more on the side of rounding up on that 7.5 to an 8 than I am rounding down to a 7. Like, I don't know if it's truly as good as some of the other 8s. I put up air quotes again for you. If it's as truly as good as some of the 8s I've given out, but I'm willing to be like, yeah, this is like a 7.5 that rounds up to an 8.
Yeah.
So I do think that the rating, the 7.76 is a very acceptable and reasonable rating for it. To be honest.
I agree with that.
I feel like sometimes we see some and we watch them, we're like, whoa, I didn't agree with that at all. Or so, and there are times where maybe it's rated a little lower and we're like, that was a bit harsh. A bit harsh. And there are, every now and then we do get these ones where we're like, yep, nope, appropriately rated.
Yeah, exactly.
7.76 might actually be like spot on, like
pretty darn close, yeah.
So I'd say I recommend it to people, honestly.
Yeah.
As something.
You just have to push through the first few episodes.
Yeah. I would say it's almost a nice-ish introduction to kind of something different than shonen.
Yeah.
Because, you still have powers, which is a little bit
shonen-y.
Yeah, it kind of can get them in with that, but it has a lot more
school
drama elements to it.
Drama, yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. If your friends haven't seen it, go out there, recommend it to them. And we'll dive into next month's anime of the month.
March anime of the month, which this time around we are going to be watching a show called Pluto.
Yeah, pretty big manga.
Yep. All episodes came out in October 2023, so technically fall 2023 was the season it came out. It's only 8 episodes. The studio is Studio M2. Not familiar with the studio. They only have 6 or 7 things under their belt, so still a relatively new studio. Genre is action, mystery, sci-fi, suspense. If you're watching it in Canada, it's going to be on Netflix. And the episodes are about 1 hour each. But don't let that push you.
I think that's more of the
stray.
8 episode, yeah. The 8 episode count is misleading because they're about an hour. It's probably closer to basically a 24, 22-ish season.
Yeah, and this is obviously a newer anime, so the My Anime List score is sitting at an 8.44 with only 122,000 people completed.
Yeah, I feel like it's got that a decent sized plan to watch when you look at like the totals for its summary stats, and just feels like it's like me. It's just in that I will get to it. I want to watch it. I just and you just
it will get there eventually.
Yeah, you just keep watching other stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, it keeps getting pushed down the line.
And we get into the synopsis here.
Good luck.
How do we want to pronounce this? How are we guessing this name of this character?
I'm gonna say Gishit.
Gishit, an android police detective of Europol, is tasked with finding the murderer of Mont Blanc, a retired war hero robot. Although it appears that only a robot could have committed the crime, the murder of renowned robot rights activists casts doubt on the criminal's identity. Indeed, outside of an isolated and unexplained incident that occurred 8 years ago, robots are programmed to be unable to kill human beings. However, the lack of human evidence on the crime scene and the similarity of modus operandi lead Gishit to suspect that 2 murderers might be the same being, be they man or robot. Shortly after Mont Blanc's passing, another retired elite war robot is mysteriously eliminated. Gishit notices a pattern in the choice of murder victim. Both dead robots belong to a group of the 7 most powerful war machines ever designed. Determined to stop the murderer from eliminating the 5 remaining veterans, Gishit seeks help from Adam, a cutting-edge android who resembles a human boy. The duo must hunt down the rogue killer before the series of murderers is carried on, lest the very fabric of society suffer intermediate damage.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is heavily inspired by Astro Boy.
Yes, that gave me Astro Boy vibes. Just
we'll do some research into it and maybe bring some of those fun facts over to the actual Anime of the Month episode for March. But I mean, it's been a while. Was Psychopaths the last mystery we watched?
Yeah, that would have been October.
It's been a while. We haven't watched much with robots.
No, we don't really do mech.
Yeah, we'll have to do a mech. You know what? We'll have to do a mecha,
Throw
like
a mech
straight
anime,
mech at some point. Maybe we'll watch like an old school Gundam or new school, depending on
something. We'll take a look. We'll
take a look. Yeah, I'm kind of excited.
It seems like it could be fun.
Does feel like a one epper at a time.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna rip through 3 or 4.
I know I've seen like the teaser on Netflix, so I know the animation's pretty. So that's got it going for it. But I am excited for a full sci-fi suspense mystery action.
I'm also excited to see what Troy's gonna think.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, if you got this far in the episode, first off, thank you so much. If you've been supporting the podcast this whole season or before that, thank you so much for the constant support. And we're excited to carry on to season 3 with you. If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, wherever you're listening or watching. And comment below if you guys liked Charlotte, if you're now planning to watch it or not. Are you excited for Pluto? What do you think of the new setup we got going on here? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, you can comment on Spotify now too.
That's true.
But until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
TNMP, the Nerdy Misfit Podcast. Don't forget to join the island by dropping a follow. Thank you. And see you next week.